Hey everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel. For anyone new here, my name is Jay, and today we are going to be talking about my bow setup for the 2025 deer hunting season. This is always a video I tend to try to usually make around this time of year. I mean, season's going to be coming in soon for everybody. You know, some deer seasons may have started already. But here in Pennsylvania, the more early season is probably about three and a half weeks away, and the main season for the whole state is still about a month and a week away. So still got some time, but it's always fun to talk about the bow and go over my setup, and maybe there's something on here that someone else can use. I did a video on this last year. I'll put a link up at the top there for anyone that wants to check it out to see the real differences. There's not too many changes I made this year. I'm not someone who likes to change things around that often, especially if it's working for me. But we'll just start from the bottom up and go from there. Okay, so the bow itself, I shoot the Mathews V3X. I've had this bow since 2020, early 2022. This will be my third hunting season with it, and I've got no complaints. I really don't think there's a particular reason why I shoot Mathews. It's just been, you know, what I decided to go with. Before Mathews, I shot a Bear Charge, if anyone knows what that is. It was a real budget bow that Bear came out with back in the day, probably, I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that, and I killed a lot of deer with it, but I just decided to go with something different whenever I felt that it was time to change up on that bow, and I settled on the Mathews V3X. Really appealed to me. I'd say my biggest change for this coming year is, and this was something I ended up having to do mid-season last year, well, more towards kind of the late season, right before gun season, is the stabilizer bar. I previously had whatever Mathews' proprietary stabilizer is on there. I can't remember what it's called, but the reason I had to change was I was lowering my bow out of the tree. I was done with the evening hunt, and I'd say about halfway down, maybe a quarter of the way down, the bow rope snapped and my bow went plummeting to the ground. I could see where it impacted first. It hit the arrows, the nocks of the arrows, and then fell forward. And the first thing to hit was the stabilizer. I checked it out. Everything on the bow seemed fine, but for one, the harmonic dampener that comes with those stabilizers, it was gone for one, and it really looked like there was a couple, like one hairline crack on the stabilizer itself, and I shot it and everything, but I kept feeling strange vibrations with the stabilizer on every so many shots. So I just decided to get rid of it, and I kind of wanted to get rid of it anyways because I didn't like the length of it. I thought it was a little too short. So this stabilizer is made by Podium Archer. This is MFJJ's stabilizer. This is a 12-inch. And as you can see, I kind of, you know, some people may be wondering, why does it look like that? Why is it sitting off to the side like that? Well, this is another system that he makes. It's called his offset system, and the concept behind it is so that you don't have to run a back bar. You know, you can distribute the same amount of weight, have the same benefits of having a back bar, but just having one stabilizer. That really appealed to me because, I don't know if you guys have noticed a theme with me, I hate heavy things, and I hate, you know, extra weight going into the woods. And being able to just run one bar and it suits my needs, that, to me, that was the game changer. So I'm running, I believe, 6 ounces up front here, and, you know, obviously nothing in the back. One nice thing I like about this is it has a quick disconnect system, so obviously this doesn't fit in my bow case at all, or any case really, because it's, you know, it's a longer bar. So you can just take that out and put it back on fairly quickly and easily. You don't have to unscrew, you know, wait for everything to unscrew and everything. So grip is UltraViews grip. I made that change last year. Instead of running the Mathews stock grip, which in my opinion those things are pieces of crap, and I feel like everyone that gets a Mathews should get rid of the default grip that's on there immediately. I looked at a lot of different grips and I settled on UltraView because for me and my hands, I kind of have sausage fingers and kind of sausage hands to an extent. This made it the easiest for me to replicate the same grip, the same way I'm gripping the bow every single time. And if we all know with archery, the biggest key I think to being successful and accurate is replicating the same thing every single time. The rest, this is Mathews Integrate rest that they partner with QAD for. Just your, standard drop away rest. Nothing too spectacular about that. I'd say the only thing that I made a change on is, and I can't stand this, Mathews gives you, every drop away rest usually gives you some kind of felt material or whatever to put around, the inside part of the rest, so that, the arrow doesn't, if the arrow wiggles around, it's going to make noise. It's meant to silence it. But that felt, it just never stays on. It's just really crappy. So what I did was I got some heat strip, made it fit to the prongs of the rest here, and just melted it. Melted the ends of it so that it conforms to the rest. It's worked really well for me, and now I don't have to worry about the felt flopping around or coming off or anything, because this heat strip isn't going anywhere. Same sight I ran last year. This is the HHA Tetra Rise. Obviously I'm using the dovetail mount because of the Mathews bridge lock. It integrates perfectly with it, and that was one of the reasons at first Mathews, especially this line of bow, this is their first model that supported their bridge lock sight integration, and that really appealed to me because bringing everything more in line with the riser, using this feature can help bring the quiver in closer. It can just bring everything more centered and more balanced in line with the riser. But the sight itself, I don't mind. My biggest gripe about it is that it's like the USS Johnson. This thing is so heavy. I feel like that's one thing about HHA that I didn't really know or understand when I first bought this, is just how heavy it is, especially compared to the other sights. Like when we start talking about Excel, UltraView, Black Gold, Spot Hog, this thing is heavier than just about all of them. I think there's one Black Gold out there that tends to be heavier than HHA sights, but I mean, I can kind of see why the whole wheel ramp is made of brass, and brass tends to be heavy. But I really like the ergonomics of this sight, the wheel and everything, and how easy it is to lock and unlock. It's not something you really have to fiddle with ever. And then the sight picture of the pins, I run a 2-pin vertical. I ran horizontal pins for a long time, and the whole vertical pin concept really appealed to me. Just having to know that there's one, just one line there you just got to worry about, as opposed to I've run 5-pin before, and the sight picture just never was clear consistently for me. So I have my sight tape set up to run, I forget how far I can actually shoot. Probably can only use the bottom pin because I bet the fletchings would get snagged. 115 is what my sight tape goes out to, and I'm not shooting an animal that far, guys. I mean, let's be realistic, but I really enjoy long range shooting, and I usually take a couple 100-yard shots a year just for fun. I always hit the target. I mean, I'm not consistent with it, but 100 yards is hard, But taking those longer shots and everything really helps me with the closer range shots, like 40 and 30 and under. So if you're confident, I try to get confident out to 65, 70, and it just makes my confidence for those closer ranges that much more. The quiver. This is the Mathews, tight-fitting, detachable quiver. It's 5 arrows. I really liked it, and it integrated with the bow perfectly. I was really torn between this one and some of those tight spot quivers, but I liked where this one sat on the bow. Those tight spots tend to sit a little bit further back, and maybe that's better if you're going to shoot with your quiver on a lot. But I'm only, guys, I'm in Pennsylvania. I whitetail hunt. That's about it. I'm not going out west this year for anything, so I usually shoot my quiver off. So Just something that's quick, easy detachable, and you know, doesn't weigh a lot. Let's talk about my arrows for this year. And I have a separate video that I'll link up here for how I built my arrows. The arrow that I actually built in that video, you know, with the components and everything, is a little different because I'm always messing around with stuff to try to figure out what works best for me. I'm usually never satisfied with something, even if it performs really well and everything. So setup, let me grab the one that actually has the broadhead on it. So the arrow setup that I'm going with for this year, Easton 5.0 300 spine. I really wish I would have gone shorter on the wrap, but this is a custom wrap. I just threw, I don't even know if the camera can see, I threw my logo on the end of it there. Just thought it would look cool, and the topographical lines on it and everything. But it's a 7-inch wrap. Wish I would have gone with like 5 or 4.5 or something. AAE HP vanes with a left helical. I went with a left helical because that seemed to be the way my arrow spun naturally coming out of my bow, with no vanes on it to begin with. One piece titanium half out insert system that's also made by Podium Archery. It's 50 grains. And then my broadhead of choice will be the Sevr 2.0. Again, Sevr's titanium mechanical broadhead. Also, I have these lighted nocks on here. They're from Amazon, and they're $2.80 a piece, and they work really well, so I don't really care that they're made in China. I could care less. They are cheap and they perform. They turn on every time, and it's easy to turn off. Win in my book. All in all, with everything, my arrow weight is 440 grains. FOC is about 15.8%, something like that. To me, that's perfect for whitetail. You don't need, I'm not a heavy arrow guy. You guys will never convince me. If you are, that's on you. That's great if that's what you like, but I'll never go down the heavy arrow route because I've never had a problem. I've shot light arrows my entire life. I've killed a good, I gotta be approaching 30 whitetail deer with a bow. You know, that's bucks and does, and I've never, if there was an issue where I didn't, because I've definitely hit some that I haven't recovered, but it's always been shot placement on my part. I made a bad shot or I missed. It's never been the arrow's problem or the broadhead's problem. And I'd say the last thing to really talk about is releases. Now I've got 2 releases here, and I know it's August, what, 23rd, 24th, something like that. Season isn't too far away, and I'm still not sure what release I'm gonna end up shooting. I shot the UltraView UV button last year and the year prior. I liked it. I don't mind it. My biggest gripe with UltraView on this release is the really long neck on this. It almost makes it to where my draw length should be, I wish I could drop this to 29 3/4, but that's not something Mathews supports module wise. You can only go half, and I feel like half is too short. I just wish I could drop it 1/4 of an inch, and then this would be perfectly fine. But also, I just don't get why UltraView has to make the neck of this so ridiculously long. However, I shoot with that thing really good. A new release I bought this year that I thought I was going to end up using is the Stan Onyx Clicker. It's not really a new release, but the concept is new. So what you're supposed to do with this is, instead of, I like to shoot a surprise shot. I like to, you know, pull through my shot. With this, what you're supposed to do is use your thumb, get to the click, and then just slightly pull, and the release goes off. That is a concept it's new to me. I'm trying to make it work. I just don't. It feels weird, and it feels like I'm. If I start squeezing stuff, I'll get back to my trigger punching days, and to me, that's no bueno. So I've gotten decent over the past couple of days with this release, but something tells me this year I'm gonna end up shooting my UV button again, just because I'm so used to it. That's it for the bow, guys. Comment down below. Let me know what you're shooting. Let me know what you think of my setup. Let me know when your opening day is. Getting close, guys. Don't forget to get out there and shoot those bows. Thanks for watching again, guys. Drop a like. Don't forget to hit that sub button, especially if you like the content, and I'll be sure to keep it coming as best as I can. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.